Many of you should be familiar with the KW brand. In fact, if you've been following Project 964, we recently put on coilovers, the V3 version. Well, we've been invited for a behind-the-scenes tour at their facility here in Germany, so come along. Be sure to log into your YouTube account, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video.
Welcome to KW Automotive here in our headquarters in Fichtenberg. We're very proud and we appreciate your visit and we would like to show you all the stuff which is happening here. First of all, we start with our workshop here where we develop all new kits, starting with doing the first measuring on new cars, and every single KW suspension is developed here in this workshop. Especially for the Porsche Club, we have the perfect example here. It's the 992, and after we do all the measurements on the car, we build prototypes here in-house. Then we do a test drive on streets, and after that we go on our 7-post rig and do testing there as well.
Okay, so this is the heart of our 4-post, 7-post rig. So you can see the 4 big pistons on each corner. These are the main ones we use for the 4-post setups. They have maximum velocity of 2 meters per second, and each piston can do 25 kilonewtons with plus or minus 75 millimeters of range. On each, you can see on each piston we have the load cells down there, which we use to measure the forces acting on them. We have 3 more, so this one and these 2 we use for the 7-post setup. We usually do, when we do development and everything, it's mainly 4-post or 6-post, which we'll explain in a second. So these 3 pistons for 7-post we do for track replays. So if you have race teams that we've caught at a certain racetrack, we can connect them to the car and then actually simulate the aerodynamics properly the same way they're going to come when this is on the racetrack. And we then usually do sweeps from 1 Hertz to 20 Hertz with 3 different velocities. So we have 75 millimeters a second, 150 millimeters a second, and 200 or 250 millimeters a second, depending on the car setup and everything. We start with 150, which is our benchmark velocity, because that's the range where the suspension is going to be most of the time. So the data we get from that is what we look at mainly, not only, but mainly. Then we have the sensors, which we have the load cells and everything. They record at 1024 Hertz. So for each car we have different sensors. So we have 4 acceleration sensors on each wheel, which are down here. Then we have, to measure the distance, potentiometers on the front left and the rear left. And we have in the front, which is now hidden underneath, we have 2 acceleration sensors in the front and in the rear. So all of these sensors, plus the movement of the pistons and the force that the load cells, we measure everything. So we get body acceleration, wheel acceleration, body travel, damping ratios. The front and rear also used to measure the pitch of the car, which we then get, can show you later, an example of what data they collect, which we then use to adjust this and do the setup according to each car. So for race cars, for family cars, for every car.
If we have finished that work, the German TÜV comes to us, doing all the check that he can create a TÜV certificate, and after that the part gets a part number and it's ready to sell. Here you can see our raw material, approximately 20 foot long. The raw material, stainless steel, getting into that machine. This machine is doing 5 steps. First it's cutting, then it's the machinery inside the tube from 2 sides and outside the tube from 2 sides. So we bring in that raw material, and after all processes, this is the tube which we get out. We have a thread inside here, we have machinery here, and machinery here. Right now we are here in the welding department, so we have the finished tube, putting the tube together with the different brackets in such boxes, and then we go into the welding. So we have a welding tool for every single strut where we put all the parts together, the tube, the brackets, and when it's finished we give the tubes and the housings outside our company for a special polishing. Here you can see our welding tools, which we prepare especially for every single application. So we do not have universal tubes or universal housings. We develop these tools especially for the car we offer the application. And with this tool we can guarantee that the brackets are always in the same position on every single tube. This is one of our laser cutting machines where we prepare the brackets for our housings. When they come out of this machine they look like that. And over here we have the machine that forms the parts. So before we have that parts flat, and after that we have that parts. Here we are in our goods receipt department, where we start to check the quality and the quantity of the products we do not produce ourselves, for example springs. And the people here bring in the goods into the right boxes that it can get into our warehouse system. From this point here, nobody of us knows where the parts are. Only our warehouse system knows where the parts are. And this is our spaceship. Here we have 15 shuttles doing more than 600 warehouse transactions in 1 hour. And with that investment, we bring the single parts to our employees, and not our employees needs to go to the single parts. On this side of the hall, we have the warehouse for bigger quantities, for our springs or shock cartridges, with one shuttle bringing these parts into that other warehouse system where we stock only smaller quantities. Here we are in the powder coating department, where we have our ground coated springs in gray, and what we do here is to powder coat these springs in the custom color the customer wants to have. For example, we have red, blue, gold options. People and customers can choose from our colors. We have here a special rack for powder coating, which enables us to use that powder coating department as efficient as possible. When the springs are powder coated, here's the next step to print on the right figures on the spring. We need these figures for the TÜV certificate as well as for our warranty process. At this station, the employees receive the orders of our customers. They get the orders for one single coilover kit, and they put the parts for one single coilover kit in 2 boxes, one box for the front axle, one box for the rear axle. After that, they put the boxes onto the line, and the next step is the assembling line in the aftermarket department. In this area of our facility, we have special OE workstations where we assemble complete coilover kits for the OE industry. So for example, we have here a project for Audi where we do the complete assembling of a coilover kit on one workstation. These products you might recognize if you own a Porsche 992 GT3R. This is our customer racing department, where we build custom specific coilover kits for every single customer. One employee has his own workstation and he's doing the complete coilover kit on his own. Additionally to that, these guys here have their own machine park. This is our warehouse robot, which picks up boxes from one station to the other station. Welcome R2D2. In spite of our warehouse system, here in our aftermarket shock absorber assembling, we do a lot of handwork. Every damper is assembled handmade with more than 300 parts inside. Once the damper are completed, every single shock absorber is tested on a dyno on 4 different damping speeds in rebound and compression damping. After the dampers are finished from our dyno, they go back into the warehouse system, and after that all single parts for complete coilover kit come with the automated warehouse system here onto that workstations, where we assemble different parts like bump stops, other parts here by pick to light. The last step of the coilover assembling line is the final assembly. So our employees get the pre-assembled damper kits and all the other parts like the springs, spring perches and other springs. And on this station, with the drawing they get from our warehouse system, they can put everything together in the right way. KW, Manthey and Porsche have a great and big relationship. We started developing together in motorsport, and the final result of our cooperation is here. You can see the final product, Manthey kits for Porsche 991 GT3. One of our unique developments in the last few years is this spring perch with composite material, which helps us, or helps also our customers, to adjust the height of the coilover system within long-term period, as we have no problem with corrosion. Here we have our endurance test equipment. We use that for endurance tests. For example, we do a 800,000 hub test before we give approval for our shock absorbers. That's what we do for OEM corporations, but we do it also for our aftermarket products. This is the last step of our production process before the kit comes into the shipping department. Here we are at the packaging, so we are preparing all the goods to send out in more than 80 countries in the world. The guys here prepare the parts as secure as possible, that you get your product in the right way. For that reason, we have a specific packaging material which you can use under shock absorbers, under springs, wherever you need it. And in addition to that, on this station we print all single documents you get for your kit. For example, the TÜV certificate, you get your installation manual, or you get also the factory setup of your KW shock absorbers. Behind me you can see our older inventory system. Although it looks very impressive, our new inventory system is much more impressive. I show it to you now. Here we are in front of our latest inventory system, where the system automatically picks up ready to sell coilover kits, which we can stock here in that system. We have space for about 6,000 coilover systems, and this step is also the last step of our company tour. I hope you enjoyed our tour through our facility here in Fichtenberg, and I wish you a lot of fun with your Porsche cars in future. Thank you.
I'm Klaus Wohlfahrt, the founder of KW Tuning, now known as KW Automotive, or KW Suspension, one of our brands. We are carrying under the roof of KW Automotive. I'm the founder, I'm the CEO of the company, and the visionnaire behind everything that happened here within the last 31 years. Mobility was very important to me, so I started to modify my mofas, mopeds, motorcycles, and at the age of 17 I bought myself my first car that had to be modified as well. And I came up with the idea to sell automotive performance parts out of the bedroom of my parents' house at the age of 19 years. Obviously at the beginning you have to learn everything from scratch. I'm not an engineer by background. I'm just a car enthusiast like most of our customers out there all over the world. And you just jump into cold water. You try to learn on every project your lesson. 30 years later, it's quite different. Everything has a very scientific approach. I have more than 1,200 employees, plenty of engineers, experts in different fields and different areas, and we managed to bring things together to become who we are now in these days. Things happen one step after another. Originally I sold performance parts in a small little retail store here 45 minutes east of Stuttgart, the automotive epicenter in the world. That's where everything started. With Mercedes, I sold just parts. I try to get my customers here in the area satisfied, best case excited. But I also figured out that what's been available at the time on the market not always delivered what customers are expecting, and that's how I started to fabricate my own things. The OEM world is very different from the aftermarket world, and when we started our first OEM business, it's been with one of the most prestige car manufacturers. I just mentioned Mercedes, and actually our first OE project has been with AMG. So already on a very high level, very demanding engineers who are looking for performance. Simply having one task in mind, building cars that are quicker than the cars from one of their competitors. Working with Porsche is a very special relationship, and everything started with Olaf Manthey many years ago. Manthey Racing, which is now owned by Martin and Niki Räder. Two people we know for many years. Me and my brother. Actually, my brother Jürgen raced for Räder Motorsport back in the days, and so we have a very good relationship with Olaf Manthey, with Manthey Racing, and those projects being successful, winning races on the Nordschleife, winning the 24-hour race. Also helped us to get introduced to Porsche, and since a couple of years we are factory suppliers on almost all Porsche racing cars, and that's obviously a very big achievement. The EV world is something we are involved for many years. Obviously before large quantities of cars getting built, there is the first step of building prototype cars. And most of those, or a lot of those concept cars, which you usually get to see on shows like Geneva, or LA motor show, those concept cars we already provided KW Suspension, being a company that has plenty of technology, huge flexibility, to build custom solutions in very short time. That got many of those concept car builders interested in KW Automotive. So we know that world for quite a while, and electric vehicles, they also require custom-made suspension. Well, the aftermarket business is probably one of the most challenging markets you can just imagine. And the promise we make seems to be almost impossible, providing the perfect suspension for every demand. We started in 2019 to reorganize our entire production assembly processes here in Fichtenberg. And Fichtenberg is one of several facilities we have within KW Automotive, but this facility here is specialized to build one-offs. That means we are building your suspension, so whatever a customer anywhere in the world is demanding is being built here in Fichtenberg, just for that one customer. And building a custom-made suspension or building a KW Automotive coilover kit is a matter of, in average, 67 different steps in assembly or in production. We are processing 350 to 400 single components for one single suspension. Every day we put roughly 30,000 parts, bits and pieces into our assembly line, and build those one-off kits. Not a single product that is being manufactured right now is going to be the same part number. So every product we build is definitely built for one customer out there somewhere in the world. From here, where do we go? KW Automotive, became now a larger, group or larger, company. We're in the meantime, more than 1,200 employees. Roughly 400 working out here of Fichtenberg. Fichtenberg is definitely the place where we, engineer and design new technologies, not just for suspension, in the meantime also for wheels. We have taken over in 21, BBS, a very prestige, brand in the wheel industry, if not to say an iconic brand, which we try to become with KW. We have several different production facilities here in Europe, in Germany, the Netherlands, in Spain. We do have, our headquarters in California with, some production abilities. Out of that location, we do have production places in Asia, in China, in Japan, and we are active in the meantime, all over the world. And we try to build high performance products for car enthusiasts all over the world. Well, what we try to provide our customers is always a custom solution, and suspension is one of the areas where you probably notice the biggest difference. Cars in these days, they have always enough power, more than you can, most likely handle. And, therefore, the world of suspension is an area where we feel very comfortable to provide, something that is beneficial for our customers. The very first day I started my business, I wanted to make a difference with, what I'm doing, to get a customer happy. That was always my target. To get a customer excited with what we are providing, that's my ultimate, target. And I believe that we have a wide range of products to offer for Porsche enthusiasts. And, I can tell we are able to win races, with Porsche on all racetracks all over the world. We are providing, Porsche owners with high performance, if not to say hypercar suspension, that makes it, more drivable or more comfortable. So higher drivability, to say so, is what we are providing in that area. And suspension is always subjective. We try to provide technology that allows you guys to adjust the suspension to match it with your preferences. And if we can get someone out of you excited, and I get to meet you once a day, I appreciate the most that people are thankful with what we are doing.